Hey there, it is Jared, SD here, back again for the Woods Draft League, season number 5, week number 10. I am your coach of the Seattle Pidgeots. I really hope the audio isn't as messed up as the last video here in the beginning. But yeah, so this week we were playing Raven Thor and his Alaska Wurmples. Um, we, of course, on a bit of a losing streak, kind of out of the playoff race at this point. But I'm still having fun with it. I like this team, or at least in this matchup, I like this team. So yeah, so we were 3-6 coming in with a -9 differential. Of course, our roster is down here. And then his roster consists of Toxapex, the Dracovish, the Halucha, the Hatterene, Delmont. Oh, voice crack. Holy shite. Delmize, Galvantula, Scrafty, Torkoal, Berserker, and Whalmer. And so, with the Dracovish being such a problem, we are bringing Bill, physically defensive, water absorb, toxic protect, recover, Scald, Quagsire. To deal with it, it takes 60% minimum from an outrage, or maximum from an outrage, a banded outrage. So with a protect and leftovers recovery, we can live that. And then if he goes for the outrage, obviously we swap into the Sylveon. Yeah, and then other than that, if Bill somehow goes down, our other answer to this was substitute Habanberry Dracozolt, which takes the outrage with the HP investment, a banded outrage, does 98 maximum with the Habanberry with that HP. And then we are adamant, so we take it out with a Dragon Claw pretty easily with the Hustle ability. No sand this week. Yeah, and then we had Choice Scarf, Switcheroo, Quiver Dance, Rabombi. Just pretty good offensive matchup with Moonblast and Psychic. And hopefully Switcheroo on one of his bulkier mons to cripple it with a Choice Scarf. We had specially defensive, just standard Heal Bell, Wish, Protect, Hyper Voice, Sylveon. This mon deals with Hatterene, it deals with Galvantula, and it deals with the Torkoal pretty easily, and it also, excuse me, Scrafty was pretty scary for my team if you wanted to run a bulk up set. So I was, yeah, I was hoping he wouldn't bring Dragon Dance, because if he did, I'd have to deal with it with Gillespod, which is 4 attacks with heavy duty boots, but Sylveon does KO basically every variant of Scrafty on the planet with Hyper Voice as well. And then this time, still bringing Toxic and Black Sludge Salazzle, because that's the only set that's worked for me. But this time, instead of Sub, we're bringing Taunt to taunt the Toxapex, possibly on Switchin', and then hopefully Toxic it at some point. So yeah, so this is the battle. Basically, after last week was a tough loss, basically kicked us out of playoffs these last 3 weeks, or 2 weeks, I guess. Actually, this is the second last week. I kind of just had no pressure. I just kind of played Pokemon for fun, which is always nice when you're not pressured to play. So yeah. Let's see what happened. He brought the Hatterene out front. We led with the Gillespod. He also brought the Scrafty, Delmize, Halucha, Dracovish, and Toxapex. We lead with Pod Racer. I go for a knockoff, maybe expecting him to go into the Toxapex or the Dracovish on a first impression. But he ends up just going for the Draining Kiss. We knock off his Assault Vest, and we go for the Leech Life. Does lots of damage, but he's able to heal up a little bit there with the Draining Kiss of his own. So we go for Leech Life. This time he goes into Toxapex. And here I think I go for Knockoff. I do. Yep. Because I wanted to trick the Scarf onto this, but I also didn't want to take the Black Sludge from him with Rabambi. So Knockoff his Black Sludge as he goes for a Toxic. I go Harden Rabambi here, thinking he might recover or he might set up a spike or something. And I'm able to get the Switcheroo off, giving him the Choice Scarf as he clicks Toxic again. Here, just go for this Psychic, I believe. Just don't want him to stay in and have me go into Sylveon and him click Toxic on it. So I go for the Psychic there. Delma is pretty hard for my team to deal with, because obviously Quagsire is my physical wall, doesn't take Grass-type moves, obviously. So I go into the resisted Steel-type move with the Golisopod, get the emergency exit, which allows me to go into Salazzle, which is nice because I can force him out, and I clicked Sludge Wave, and then with my HP investment, I just wanted to see what he wanted to go for. He goes for the Sky Attack, which could have killed me if I let him get it off, but I scouted there for the Protect, and I knew that Acrobatics could not kill me after the boost, so I was able to ignore that. I was able to take out the Hawlucha. Scared of the Scrafty for sure, so I go for Toxic, thinking he might be Shed Skin, but had to do it anyway. He does reveal the Bulk Up, which is terrifying. So I go into the Golisopod here. He goes for the Knockoff to knock off my boots, and the Toxic damage will take me out. So the Scrafty is terrifying, but we see that he's pretty slow, so he's obviously not Dragon Dance, so I can force him out with Rabambi, go for the Moonblast there on the Delmise, and then I'm able to just go for another Moonblast here. Don't really have a switch into this, so he's able to take me out here with Anchor Shot, but getting him down to 21, that reveals that he is Assault Vest, by the way, but Salazzle can take it out, and he is forced to go back into Scrafty. I go for a Sludge Wave there. He reveals the Shed Skin there, healing his Toxic. I go for Taunt just to make sure he can't bulk up, but he actually clicks Knockoff and knocks off my Black Sludge, which is rough, but Salazzle will just switch out here into the Sylveon. Obviously, if he has Iron Head, he doesn't have Rest, so he's a lot less scary, and he reveals Drain Punch. And I go right for the Hyper Voice, I believe. I do go for the Hyper Voice. Does good damage to a non-Assault Vest anymore Hatterene, and Sylveon's able to take it out. Here he goes into Toxapex. I go for Protect, seeing what he wants to do. He wants to click Scald. Of course, he is Scarfed, so he has to lock himself into that. He gets a burn on the second one, so I go for Hyper Voice, thinking he might double. He does not. Here he does double, as I just keep clicking Hyper Voice because Scald was doing less, even with the burn. So just trying to stall him out at this point. He goes into the Quagsire, I go into the Quagsire, he goes into Dracovish, clicks Psychic Fangs, revealed that he's not banded, which is good to see. I go for Scald, get the burn, which doesn't really matter because he's Shed Skin, obviously, and he's also Rest, as we find out on the next turn. He goes for Knockoff. I'm able to force him out here into the Toxapex, and I pull the double into Salazzle, and I get a Toxic off on the Toxapex, which pretty much renders it useless, basically, and Dracozolt is able to come in. I go for a sub here, because I know Scald doesn't break the sub, obviously, and it helps me be safe if I miss, because I was Hustle. So I had to hit all three of these moves, but Dracozolt does claim the last 3 kills, and we get back into the win column with a 3-0 win. We get back to 4-6 with a -6 differential. So yeah, thanks for watching. GG to Raventhor, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.